Bronwyn, do you agree with Andrew? Do you take a similarly bracing view?
I do about the inevitability of disappointment, but otherwise no. I think it is big for America. The question is to say exactly why. And the newspapers and television, as you will see in the past 36 hours or so, have excelled themselves in inverted sentences and with over-resonant adjectives. But now we get to the point of saying why exactly is it so big for America? And some of the more subtle analysis that's coming out shows how complicated a picture it actually is. I do think the racial significance is big within America and outside America, contrary to what Andrew said. But I think you have to look at some of the more detailed analysis. CNN had on the night of the election a map that was precinct by precinct across the South, showing that even though Obama won at least a couple of southern states, Florida and Virginia, which was a breakthrough, that precinct by precinct had actually done a lot worse than the Democratic contender in the previous two elections, suggesting they argued quite a lot of resistance still in the South to voting for a black person. And I think it's simply a test of time. Does this mark a big shift left in the US? I'm not at all clear that it does in any profound and permanent way. A lot of it is a reaction to the Bush years, a vote for change, if you like, but then you come to the day 2, day 3 question again of what does that change mean. And if you look what it means for America, it's the enormous difficulty that this administration is going to have is that the wall of events heading its way. It's true of any administration, and the campaign people are very a kind of powerful way they describe it, that during campaign everything goes through a bottleneck of 20 people, maybe 4 at the top, and then suddenly you have to set up this administration with all the drama and the kind of over-theatricality of the first 400 appointments and so on. You have to suddenly go from running everything with 4 or a couple of dozen people to suddenly a couple of hundred, as this enormous wave of events is heading your way. And the economic ones, it seems to me, it will be very hard for Obama to surface from in the first couple of months. He has to make a lot of decisions very quickly, and he has a Democratic Congress expecting very generous and precise things of him. And it seems to be where he is going to disappoint first is the Democratic Congress. He cannot do the things on climate change, on healthcare, on all kinds of spending that he has promised to do. The Congressional Budget Office, that marvelous institution which says very dryly about 2 months before any American election, look, both your numbers don't add up, said so with extra sourness this year. And that was just as the financial turmoil had begun to bite with real force. The McCain numbers didn't add up, and the Obama numbers didn't add up. They can't do, neither of them could have done what they promised, and that's even more so 2 months on. And so he's going to have to reconcile those campaign promises to the extent that they were precise with the very precise expectations of that Congress, and that is the first political problem that's going to face him, it seems to me, and it's really going to take him some time to overcome. Then he is going to be hit by events from outside. And we've all kind of foreign policy commentators have spent the past week very magisterially going around either country by country the threats, or in a more modern way, theme by theme, the problems like climate change and terrorism and so on. But that gives a very static portrayal. As Andrew's just said, President Medvedev's first response in Russia was a kind of grudging congratulation buried in a subclause, combined with a decision to, or one of these Russian announcements to move missiles close to Poland. When I say one of these Russian announcements, I mean, judging by recent patterns, you don't know if it's actually going to happen, but it wasn't what you might call a friendly gesture. And there are these leaders out there who, and terrorist leaders I include among that, who are going to see it as their reason for getting up in the morning to test the new American president and to present him with all kinds of trouble. Iran is probably within that, but if I were leading Iran, if I can say that I would not want to attract direct attention at the moment, since what Iran wants and has successfully got over the past few years is simply more time to keep on with its nuclear ambitions and to sort out its own immensely complicated politics. But may well want to stir up the kind of trouble elsewhere in the region that will distract American attention and keep it bogged down. There are a lot of countries that are capable of doing that. The first decisions that Obama is going to have to make are not easy ones, and bring him right up against that question that Andrew's just raised of how much his allies really love him, never mind how much his enemies hate him. And the first of those is whether to put more troops into Afghanistan, and along with that, this very complicated diplomatic question of whether to start talking to the Taliban. And there's been all kinds of rhetoric come out in the Obama campaign, none of it very clear, about whether America should now talk to its enemies, or people who've been very difficult, Taliban, Iran, among those. So there is a difficult question of the new administration's approach to all kinds of foreign policy things, which is captured in the first early decisions. He's going to have to ask NATO to give more troops to Afghanistan. Most of NATO is going to want to say no. Britain has already said no, but it seems to me he's going to have to rethink that. Very hard to pin as many hopes on Obama as many European countries have done, and refuse him the first thing that he will ask for, which he will ask for at the latest by the NATO summit in April. So there's all kinds of things, and that's just the foreseeable, that are going to make quite an uncomfortable start to this. I still revert to the first one. I do think it's big for America. It's an enormous mandate. It's a mandate for a very different approach from the Bush years. And however fuzzy some of Obama's promises have been, his promise of a change of tone within America and outside America has been quite clear, and I think that's what people have backed. But we still don't know what's coming, and the fact there's an awful lot of people sitting around the planet planning to give him a lot of difficult decisions very fast.
Thank you very much.